feel like he had his best up, but he kind of just grind through it? What did you see from him, and what do you think of his performance?
I thought he had a great performance. I saw the same thing. And even in the 6, Park really challenged him to go back out in the 7 because he was only like at 83 pitches right-handed. But it was hot today and everything else. But I think that's where Lowe's really growing. That competitive piece, holding the ball, going late in the games. Park went out to take him out and didn't want to come out, which was good to see. Where he's come from last year to this year is such a growing process for him. Not just the stuff, it's more the maturity of competing and being a tough SEC pitcher.
Was it the blister or a contact issue when he came out?
It was a contact. So he had a contact. He was sweating like crazy. I think it's hot in Curacao. Does anybody know? Felt like it was the hottest day ever. Some of my guys were monkeying in our dugout, and I told them it was 82. You get a regional or super regional, it's 100. So we're going to have to get used to the heat.
Robbie, you talked last night about this lineup and how you like having guys in their spots so they can get comfortable, and it really seems like that's starting to happen with this offense. You had 3 hits from Logan today. It's just getting tougher to get through this lineup. What are you seeing from them right now that's making them so successful top to bottom?
In the last 2 weeks, I think you've seen Amani have some big days, Logan have some big days, and Hunter have some big days, and everybody else has been pretty steady in there. Ethan Williams jumped in and given us some really good at bats. So I think you're getting just a little more from everybody. Johnny does his. It's amazing. Johnny has a big at bat once or twice a game, and then maybe a bad at bat, but he's able to help the lineup and usually with runners in scoring position. Benjamin.
Another big day for Mershon. He's sort of almost flying under the radar here with just everything that he can do. What do you like? Just what he brings to this lineup in the 2 holes, sort of always in the middle of everything.
What I like about David Mershon is he brings the same thing every day. I never lay my head on my pillow and not think about what's David Mershon doing. He is a true baseball rat. He loves the game. He plays it. So hard. It doesn't matter if we're winning, losing. He's playing good. He's playing bad. You get the same thing from that kid every day. And he's a really good player.
John?
I noticed you kind of met with your guys in the dugout. I think it was like the 4th inning. It looked like pretty animated in there. They ran out, obviously, looked pretty pumped up. What was that?
Just showing some frustration and bad body language. We're up 3-1. We won the first game of the series. They don't get to see anything. They shouldn't see any frustration from us or anything like that. And it was from a couple guys that are really good players who weren't probably having as much success as they wanted. And it's about us winning games, and so we have to be able to put that aside and play the game just a little more poker face, maybe.
Steph?
Look at the pitching, how much it's improved this season, especially in SEC play. I think everyone expected it to get a little bit better. Did you have an idea that, with a lot of these guys clicking, that it could have a chance to be this big of a jump?
Well, it's made a big jump, no doubt. And Justin and the pitchers and the staff have done a great job. But we did have a feeling like we had some talented guys. I think last year we got beat up a lot about, hey, we didn't take enough guys out of the portal. But our guys were better than what was in the portal, a lot of them. And I just felt like that we had to get them playing good baseball. And I think Park's done that. And created an identity of toughness and with that pitching staff, that they've done a really good job. But I really did, when you look up at some of the talent we had, like a Durangelo. The day Justin got hired, the next day we were in Miami, meeting with Durangelo and his family and letting him be Park, and because you knew how great he could be. So.
Are you going to start campaigning for another Assistant of the Year award?
Oh God, no, I don't know about that. So we'll see. But he's done an amazing job with that pitching staff. He's done a really good job.
Steve? So Ethan on the bunt, 2 things. Number 1, update on him, but number 2, they initially called that safe, like that he didn't attempt, and then they came back and said that it was a foul ball. And what was the explanation on that?
They number 1, Ethan's fine. We had an X-ray, no breaks, no concussion, no laceration, just a knot. He's got a little bit of swelling. They said he foul tipped it, and we thought he foul tipped it too. A good thing for us, he foul tipped it, hit the helmet, then it hit him. So there was some things that took the velocity off. But we had one last week when we played it. The ball went straight into the face. And poor kid had a fracture of the face. So he's fine. And that's what they called on that one. So but they did call the foul tip.
Robbie?
It's been, I think the last couple of years, you mentioned it a few times, that your teams hadn't allowed the fans to really get involved in ball games, and you're playing some meaningful games now late in the season this year. How's that feel to kind of get that back and allow this atmosphere to kind of do its job and do what
You know,
it's
the funny thing is, like, I can remember sitting there last year, the last game of the year, and the place was packed. Like, we just, but getting him into the game and having that piece that really, you know, the dude effect, I guess we've always talked about. It's a big deal, and we talked about it this week. This is our house, and people are coming here to play us, and we're going to be packed, and our town lives for this. You know, I think that's a big piece. So it's been fun, but you got to get them into it too. You got to get a hit, you got to make a play, you got to do something to get the crowd into it. I think they've done a nice job with that.
Same.
Two big wins back to back against an SEC cross-state rivals. How does this feel, and what does it mean to you guys going into the third game tomorrow?
Well, the third game is huge. I just challenged the team that, you know, somebody, you know, you're fighting for a regional to host one, you know, and you're fighting against Alabama, and you know, you win one, they win one, and the extra one goes to the home team. Nobody really sees a big difference. And like I told the team, you have to, you know, you win all three. You know, you leave no doubt, and it's good to win them. But in this league, you're just chasing the next one, and the next one's 15, which is a big number in this league. So for us to jump out there and get one tomorrow is huge.
See Johnny hit a walk as well. We see him a lot of times. He gets kind of wider in his stance. I guess
It's a
what's
two-strike.
Is that just him? Is that something you guys work with? Or
No, we get everybody a little bit wider. He kind of goes a lot wider, and then he calls it the lightsaber when he lays his thing down, which is pretty good for Star Wars Day. So they said he was the right guy for Star Wars. But if you notice him, he lays it down. He calls it his lightsaber, and he's got some real personality. He sent a text to the whole team this morning. I can't read it to you, but you don't read it. But he's one of the alphas of this team, man. He's a fun kid to coach. Robbie.